Namaste. I'm very much pleased to be part of this Hindu Media Forum, and I have been attending the World Hindu Congress, which was held in Hong Kong, and last year in Bangkok, and this year in Bharat. First of all, I have to thank Swami Vigyan for creating such a platform for all of us to present our cases, express our views, and exchange our thoughts. So today, the chairperson of this session, Sushil Panditji, and the eminent speakers who have been stalwarts in the media, they have been here. So I am a youngster among the big stalwarts standing here, but standing on the foot of the family which has created a legacy in the newspaper industry for the past 63 years, from my grandfather, a great freedom fighter, who started this Tamil newspaper called Dinamalar. We are here, the third generation running the newspaper, and I would like to start my presentation. The print media first evolution in India was in the year 1780. It was started by one Britisher called James Augustus Hickey. In the year 1780 in Calcutta, it was called as Bengal Gazette. And today in Bharat, we have, as per the register of newspapers, we have registered newspapers of 1,119 English newspapers, and the vernacular newspapers of 1,689 newspapers. And there's been an increase in the circulation of nearly 10.25% by the publications in the year 2012 and 13. And the total client circulation of all these newspapers put together is around 45 crores. That is newspapers, periodicals, and the niche magazines, a lot of things which is come in the publications. And that's the total sale is around 45 crore. It has been climbed as per the R&I details. The economics of the newspaper, because Sushil Panditji had, in brief, he has explained a lot of things. He has made my job easy today. And as all of you know, the traditional print media survived on two major revenues model. One is the circulation, that's a cover price subscription, what we get, and the other one is the advertisement revenue. And our major cost is the operational cost is the creation of the editorial content, pre and post press, the production of the newspaper, and the newsprint, which is a major consumer cost. Then comes the distribution. It's day by day. It is becoming difficult for the print media to create the new distribution channels and the admin overheads. And all of you know, and Sushil Panditji also mentioned about the cover price. None of the newspapers actually sell what they produce. The production cost and the sales has no meaning today. It's literally the content of the newspaper is given as free. At least some vernacular dailies like ours, we have at least today we price it at 5 rupees in Tamil Nadu. There the media owners have a better understanding among ourselves. We don't try to kill each other. We try to survive on the strength of our content. That's one good thing in our state. We have some better understanding. So we all sit together and decide the price, and we minimize our losses in that. Try to minimize our losses in that. Today the dynamic of the competition. I think all of you like this caricatures. Because when I prepared this text, I gave it to my expert boy who is there in my newspaper as a caricature. He said, boss, you should have all these caricatures. At least that will have an impression on the people who are there attending the conference. And today, emergence of the television industry, and those days we were exclusive people of having the maximum of the advertisement revenue. Today, our major chunk of ad revenues have been taken away by the television channels. And next is the FM radio. Now, another big concern of FM radio is so far news has not been allowed in FM radios. Now that permission is also coming up for FM radios. So that also, there will be a lot of challenges for newspapers because they will be also giving a lot of news on the radios. And the other one is the online. Online media which is fast growing, and we are also proud to say among the vernacular dailies in this country, our Dinamalar.com, the Tamil online, is the #1 online newspaper, e-paper which has been viewed by the Tamil diaspora to the world. So we have a lot of viewership in that. The effect of the digital media and newspaper economy today. As I said, it's a revenue, the advertisement has been the major revenue. Today there have been a lot of players are there now, from television, radio, the online newspapers, online popular blog sites, the outdoor, the hoardings, the other outdoor activities which are taking place, then the direct marketing, which is also taking a lot of revenues of the newspaper from us. Next is the newspaper staffing. So anyone who wants to venture into television or radio or any blogs or online paper, anything, the first person they come to the newspapers to poach their journalist. They take our people, the good trained editorial staff, reporters, on all the people who work for to get advertisement revenues. They have been taken away by the newcomers for them. So it is easy for them to take our people, pay them more and take it. So it is becoming staffing is becoming a major issue for the print media today, getting them trained and developing the news sources also. Because news sources are developed through personal relationships and contacts over a period of time. So for them to get the new journalists to get into track to develop news sources becomes a great difficulty because of this new entrance of the digital medium, which is trying to hijack our people outside from our system, from the print media system to their system. And today we are all forced also to adapt to the new conditions of the online. So as we in Dinamalar, last 15 years back, we adapted to the online medium. Today we are very much well entrenched and we have millions of viewers in online. But at the end of the day, we have to have separate wing of staffs to adapt the newspaper into the online format. So again, it is also having a large cost on the print medium newspaper, as well as the revenue model, because we are all free. There is no pay in that. So again, the revenue model has to be advertisement. So in that way, still it is not a matured market to get the ad revenues for the online version of the newspapers or the e-papers. And for example, the vernacular newspapers, they also have a small below the carpet competition from the neighborhood newspapers. So a lot of neighborhood newspapers are today thriving in big metro cities, where they have been supported by the small advertisement retail clients who traditionally used to be with the vernacular newspapers or the part of if you go and see today HT City, Delhi Times, all these things used to have small clients who have been spending on those mediums. Now that has been taken out by the neighborhood newspapers because they give it at a very cheaper cost and they don't have big overheads like we have. So for them it's easy. They outsource the printing, weekly ones they give and they carry all this advertisement, which also is becoming a stress on the conventional print media. And coming to these various other pressures now we have, this a major one is that when there is a global economy slowdown and when there is the GDP of the country, when there is a slowdown on the economy, and the first thing which any advertiser does is he cuts on the budget of the spending on the ads. So that puts a lot of pressure on the newspaper. Plus global economy, when there's a rise in the dollar price or a petroleum product price, the other thing is a rise in the imported newsprint price. Most of the quality newsprint is today imported from foreign countries, so newsprint import price goes up, and our printing ink price and machineries also. Most of the good machines are all today. People, readers want multicolored paper, so all the pages should be full of color. It should be colorful newspapers today. So those machines have been imported machines. So we have to shell out a lot of money for that than it has to be, because of the rise of the dollar prices. And today's new order of the retail business is e-commerce. So a lot of business is happening in the e-commerce. E-commerce is eating the traditional retail showrooms and businesses which have been in the market, who have been the traditional supporters of the print medium. So they have now been hit because of the retail e-commerce business. So they are also cutting on budgets, because we could feel the pinch in this last Diwali business and before that. All our big spenders on retail had cut down the budget, saying that Flipkart is ruining our life. They are putting products below our price, which has been sold in our MRP price. Whatever the price they put in the showroom, Flipkart sells 30% below that. So today we are having a tough time. So sales has come down, and today from footwear to sari to any product you want to buy, you can buy it online today, which is killing the traditional retail business. That is also again hitting the print newspaper business. As well as the wage board, it's a very peculiar thing to see in the entire media. Only the print is being controlled by the government, because the previous Congress governments, thanks to Madam Indira Gandhi, who wanted to have control over the newspaper industry. From those days, they wanted to have control. So they have this wage board, and wage board is what government decides to fix the salary of people, whether they are productive or not productive, whether they have the capacity to take that salary, whether they are like the modern way. You can't do an appraisal of a person, whether he's performing or not, you can't do it. If he's there into your system, he's there in the system. You have to pay him that salary. So that's where the whole thing is happening. And entire media like television, online, FM radio, none of them have this wage board except the print media. And the new law of print media, this wage board, new one, is threatening the owners that they'll be put behind bars if they don't implement it. And a lot of newspapers are today in such a loss, they could not even settle the own people. To settle them, they don't have sufficient money to settle them. If they have to settle the people and send them, like giving a voluntary retirement scheme or something, they have to sell the entire assets of the company and sell it, and they have to settle it. That's a condition of that today's print media. A lot of print media people here, they understand how it works today. So at least Modi ji should have some consideration, because we went to the Supreme Court, nothing happened there. And the conclusion is that besides all these things, print media will survive because big players in the English, like how the Hindustan Times and Times of India, after so much of bleeding, still they continue and survive, make a lot of money in that. And regional also. The number one, number two player in every region, and the English medium, Pan Bharat, they will survive the coming days. Urbanization and growing literacy will help the growth, and we have been growing. Not to the expected growth level, but we have been growing it. And upgradation to online is the order of the day for every newspaper. They have to survive, they have to go in for online. To create an online e-paper, online version of the newspaper. So, the final concluding part is that happiness is coffee. Being a South Indian, I'm proud to say happiness is coffee and newspaper and the gossips. So we would enjoy, because I used to tell my editorial people that when the online can fight us, when the television, because all of them in delivering the content, they have certain restrictions of time, but we don't have a restriction on that. So we have to give it in a dramatic flow of news, where it gives a reader a thrill to read the news. So you should feel that he has read the news. So I also get this all on WhatsApp and Twitter, everything. You can get how Nina told us 140 characters maximum. You can write a story for a full page, you can write a story for a half page. And if the flow is very natural and interesting, papers will be read any day. So thanks for giving the opportunity to represent myself.